Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you to Day 2 of GameSpot's live coverage of Comic-Con 2011. I'm your host, Chris Waters, here perched in the Hard Rock Hotel, joined by Seth Killian to show off one of the most talked about, most buzzed about games here at Comic-Con. That's Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Seth, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Dude, big news, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This is a huge one for fighting fans, huge one for people at Comic-Con. How's it been so far getting it out there?
It's been exciting, a little more exciting even than we anticipated, but the reaction just from seeing fans on the floor, everybody come by to play it, has been totally incredible.
Excellent. Now we've got a couple people playing it back in the studio here. Do you want to give those guys a shout out as they battle it?
I'm shouting out to Wes and Matt from Capcom. They're holding it down with 4 of our new characters. We're talking about Firebrand from the Ghosts and Goblins series, one of my personal favorites. And he's joined by Strider, one of our most requested characters by fans, one of my personal favorites. And then on the Marvel side, we've got Ghost Rider, who's incredible, and Hawkeye. Ghost Rider, as you mentioned, what's going on with him?
Yeah, we've got so we're on this hotel. You can't really see it here, but on the outside, boom, Ghost Rider, big thing on the side there. The Awakening, perhaps. I don't know. The dude is coming back in a big way.
He's blowing up.
Here he is in Ultimate MVC3. Now, 4 new characters we're showing off today. Like, give fans an idea. You know, how are these guys playing a little different? What kind of stuff are they each bringing to the table?
Well, actually, Firebrand is probably the most unique of the characters. So he actually, again, one of the design challenges on Marvel, which is part of my favorite thing, is to actually try and represent the game that the characters came from. So Firebrand in Ghosts and Goblins was the annoying little red devil that would swoop down at you from like very difficult angles. So he's all about swooping down at you from annoying angles, and it really works, as well as, of course, predictable fireballs. Ghost Rider, obviously, with the giant chain, is controlling the whole screen. He's sort of like a fast Dalsim kind of character.
He busted out the motorcycle a minute ago.
Oh, yeah. When he knocks you down and run you right over on the flaming motorcycle from hell. That's brilliant. Hawkeye, I think we're up to about 16 different arrow types right now. And, you know, we got a little ways to go with development yet. So we'll see what the final number of different trick arrows that Hawkeye brings to the table. And then Strider, we tried to keep pretty representative of his Marvel vs. Capcom 2 incarnation, which was a very, very popular character in that game. So he's got some of the signature moves, the Ouroboros, where he summons all the orbs around and just rushes you down. He's pretty incredible as well. He's the first character in this game's history to have 2 level 3 hyper combos, which are, yeah, pretty awesome to watch.
Oh my. All right, so at Capcom, as the special combat advisor, you're trying to bring these guys into the game. You're trying to make them fit with all the existing characters. But Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, it's going to be a new retail product.
It is.
And are you making any changes to the sort of bedrock fighting engine from Marvel vs. Capcom 3 that you want to talk about?
Yeah, there are a few. Some of them are sort of inside baseball, kind of smaller, nerdy things, but that's my business, and I love it. So actually, every character in the game is getting looked at from a New Balance perspective. So some of them, like we've seen Ryu and some of that, people talking about that, have completely brand new moves. Whether it be new special moves, new hyper moves. Other characters will receive more subtle tweaks just to try and balance them out. But it's going to be a variety for the entire cast, both the returning cast and the new characters. X Factor, which is one of the defining mechanics of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, lets you power up and do all sorts of stuff, can now be activated in the air. And the wall and ground bounce system for team aerial combos has been adjusted a little bit as well. You can now either try and build up your own super meter, take your opponent's super meter away, or just go for some more damage. And it's sort of a little 1 out of 3 guessing game. Very cool.
Okay, so now the upshot of all these changes, are you guys trying to, what's the idea for the ultimate version of this game? You know, you're trying to like spice it up a little bit. You're trying to just make it all that much better.
We really just wanted to round out the entire package we had these additional characters that we wanted to do, and just really take a look at how the balance worked out for Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and see where we wanted to go in terms of that direction. So I think it's really about bringing all the characters on board and then having that kind of complete balance that we're really proud of at Capcom. It keeps things exciting. So this, as a package, also includes some new online features like a spectator mode. That's something people really asked for after the initial release. And this is something we really want to do to watch the games together and get intel on the guy I'm about to play. It's just really fun, and it's a nice community feature that keeps the fighting fun.
Very cool, and it allows people to, hone their skills, maybe pick up a few new tricks.
Indeed.
And now, are we on a new stage here as well for the new game?
There will be a bunch of new stages. Variously.
I'm seeing some Firebrand Juniors in the background.
Yes, this is indeed his home stage. So some of the stages got slight little tweaks in the background. Others have been completely redone to the point of being a new stage. You'll see new cameos from both Capcom and Marvel characters, and there's all sorts of little touches that we'll talk about going forward. Things about, like, just in the Days of Future Past stage, you'll see characters from, like, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 that didn't actually make it into Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and just alongside the mutants that had been killed, they put the posters up about killed mutants. We have characters from the Marvel and Capcom side that are both not here present in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Little nerdy stuff that the guys at Marvel and the guys at Capcom got together on and just had a really good time with. It's all throughout the game.
Excellent. I mean, when you're drawing on the Marvel fan base, the Capcom fan base, and the Marvel versus Capcom, I mean, that's a huge array of fans to contend with. Now, you guys have talked about sort of listening to the community and adding the spectator mode that was very clamored for, and Strider, a character that people really wanted. How has it been in the development process to sort of adapt and try to integrate some suggestions from your fervent fan base?
Well, we always listen, and then it's a question of what you can actually pull off, and then there's sort of larger forces at play as well. So, of course, we've got on the Marvel side, Marvel has a big stake in who the characters are going to be in the game.
Sure.
And we're talking about Hawkeye, and you see some Avengers, and you see some Avengers movie discussion and things like that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of crossover there, and Marvel has their own ideas. On the Capcom side, looking directly at that kind of fan feedback is very important. It's not to the point where it's marching orders, so you're never going to be able to do everything the fans ask for.
Sure.
We try and do as much of them as we can and make that balance out with actually getting the game out and all the other different kind of concerns we have to balance.
Fun, yeah.
Yeah, and so with again so many great characters to choose from, inevitably you're going to be disappointing people. No matter how many great characters you put in, somebody's going to have a frowny face. So
sure.
I feel their pain. There's, of course I got some of my favorites in here. There are others I wanted to see that didn't make the cut, but overall, I mean, the thing I remember most about Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was once the game had gelled and I really started to play, it ended up being that some of my favorite characters weren't the characters I was most excited about as characters, but just actually playing them, I was like, wow, I'm really bonding with this guy. Even though as a character, I'm like, eh. So I think that's what's also interesting and fun about the game, and I hope people will give the new characters a chance, even if they're not the ones they might have chosen for themselves.
Gives folks a way to discover a new way into the game.
Exactly,
a new character. Yeah,
that's
now,
what it's all about.
Folks who don't hear that their characters are going to be in the game yet can still hold out some hope, right? I mean, we've seen the character select screen here a couple times. There's some unknown blocks. You guys how many total new characters are you aiming for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3?
Well, we're aiming for 12, and there are indeed some unknown blocks, but after some news came out yesterday, I don't know if we have too many unknowns left in the unknown block. So we may be, who knows what could be possible in the future, but as of right now.
That cryptic phrase is a little too cryptic for you. Check out news.gamespot.com. We've got the rumor mill covered, and you can take a look at what people are talking about it.
Yeah, we had all of our characters leaked out yesterday. We can own it, so
claim it.
All 12 of them are out there. They're real and they're gorgeous, and they're a lot of fun. So hopefully people will be enjoying those soon enough at some future shows. But right now we've got 4 playable on the show floor, and the reaction's been amazing.
So yeah, people at Comic-Con can actually come line up and play this game. You guys are in the hall?
Yeah, we're in the hall. It's just right out there, and people actually saw it and were like, wait, this is Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3? And then they were like, bah! So literally there was a guy who saw it and then he started to play, saw it, and then turned around and ran out, and then came back with 8 of his friends because he somehow didn't realize that we had it on the floor. So he thought he was just coming by to play some regular old Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and then was like, what's this new book? So that was pretty fun to see, but hopefully the word is out. Now the word is certainly out. And,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's just the first full day of Comic-Con. Preview night was last night. Have you gotten any Marvel vs. Capcom cosplayers come on by your booth yet?
I don't know if I can call them Marvel vs. Capcom cosplayers, but a lot of Capcom cosplayers, a lot of Marvel cosplayers. Okay. So I'll make them hug, and then we've got a Marvel vs. Capcom cosplayer.
And then you got them in there, boom, there you go.
We can put them in
have them face off,
there you go.
Make a pose or something like that.
They're amazing. So we're having some cosplay contests by the booth, both for Street Fighter and for Resident Evil. Obviously, there's Street Fighter and Resident Evil characters in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So we'll grab some Marvel guys and maybe do a pose down.
All right, very cool. Now, we're queuing up another match here. Now, is there something in the fighting system that you you've talked about a lot of changes. This is something you're very intimately involved in. Is there something that like really kind of lights your fire, like one particular? Give us one like delve deep into the nerdy minutia realm before we wrap it up here.
Well, so in the original Marvel vs. Capcom 3, there were two characters that were considered two of the most dominant in the game. One being Phoenix, in part because she could turn into this Dark Phoenix version of herself, which is pretty overpowering and unbelievable. We wanted to keep her ability to turn into Dark Phoenix and keep her sort of over-the-top powers, but we were able to make a very slight adjustment so she can do just a little less with her fireballs in the air. And this sounds nerdy, but she's not as able to follow them up quickly with the teleport. She had a lot of very tricky mix-ups that made her one of the most dominating characters in the game. We think she's still a lot of fun and actually still a strong character, but you're not going to be sort of, you get opened up like a can of, it's not someone opening a can on you, you just felt like, what just happened?
I just got dismantled and
you don't even know why, you're just like, So I think we're going to tone that down a little bit while keeping the flavor of the character. I'm pretty proud of that, and of course the new guys are just brilliant. So everything the team's been come up with ideas for Hawkeye's arrows, pulling in, he's got Ant-Man riding on the tip of one of his arrows for his level 3 super, and then he turns giant at the end and stomps you. And so it's just a mix of nerdy little details on the hit frames and just raw fun as far as, stupid ideas for the characters like that and seeing it become a reality.
Fantastic. And Comic-Con is such a great place to be showing it off.
Oh, this is the best place in the world for this game, and really happy to see the reaction so far.
Wonderful. Now, for folks who aren't here at Comic-Con, who aren't going to be able to get in and get their hands on the game, give them a tidbit. When are they going to be able to play it? When are they going to see it? When are they going to be able to buy it?
Well, the game's coming out in November, so you're not going to have to wait too long, but we are going to have this out on the road with us as much and as often as we can. So we're going to be at the EVO World Final Fighting Championships next week.
Okay.
Might be a good place to find some Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, as well as some other great fighting games. That's going to be incredible. But we're going to be basically, if you expect to see Capcom at a show, expect to see this game, and maybe with some new characters as well. Going to keep it out there because we're proud of what we're doing, and we want to see everyone's reaction, put it in their hands, let them do it.
Yeah, see how it goes. That's great, Seth, and what a pleasure for you to be here, kicking off our show here live at Comic-Con. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 coming out in November, and you folks can look forward to more coverage on that on GameSpot.com. Seth, thank you so much for coming by, showing it off.
My pleasure.
Good luck, enjoy the con. Hopefully you get some epic cosplayer battles going on at the old booth there. All right, folks, now we are going to head out to the show floor ourselves, where Homer Rabara has been touring the booths, bringing you just the flavor of the show floor because it's unlike any place you've ever been. First stop, Square Enix. We're going to see what they've got on offer.